And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hey everyone, this is Spence the Singing Swordsman at the Brothers Commonplace. Thanks for checking out our podcast. Just a quick disclaimer before we start. We are a comedy podcast that covers many serious events. We aren't here to purposefully offend or disrespect any of the people in our topics. But at the same time, we will be trying to make each other laugh and crack jokes. Thanks again for listening. Be good, stay safe, and laugh at the dark stuff.
All right, fellas, like we practiced.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4. Come on down. Come on down. Hanging with the brothers tonight, yeah. Come on down to the Brothers Commonplace tonight.
I think she's evil and sick and the most cold-hearted person I've ever dealt with in my life.
Antoinette Frank was the last person in the world any police department should have ever hired.
Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Brothers Commonplace, a comedy and crime podcast where we cover monsters, murders, mysteries, and more. And today we got a real sweet peach to talk about. This girl is a sweet peach. But before we get into that, hanging with the brothers, you'll be hooked on the brothers, the brothers, the brothers.
I like that. What's up, guys? This is Tim, or the gay, the fat, and the ugly, as they call me when I auditioned for that Western.
Yo, what up? This is Spence. I just planted some flower seeds today, and I'm feeling like, you ever seen the movie The Troll in Central Park?
I've never seen the movie. I don't get the joke.
He could like flick his thumb like that,
Yeah.
and it turns green, literally like it glows like Frodo's sword.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my It's just a sting.
And then, yes. And then you can touch anywhere and plants just start growing.
Nice.
So it remains to be seen, actually, whether I'm like that guy or not.
I hope you are.
I don't remember his name either, but I want to take on his persona for this episode.
His name now is Spencer.
It's Tyler Carnell.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hey everyone, this is Chau Vu. I'm sorry guys, I've been sounding like sad lately. It's because like I've been transitioning, and it's not like from a man to woman, woman to man, like that kind of transitioning. I've been trying to like transition into like 2-dimensional apples or grapes or something like that. But I think I'm gonna quit because my grandma keeps making fun of me and calling me Tutti Frutti.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Rudy.
Oh, man. I did not expect that. That was good.
That's pretty rude of her.
Yeah, that was fucking good, dude.
Holy shit. That was good.
I told that to Cassidy and she didn't even laugh, and I was like, I've really been working on that for a fucking week. Please
Dude,
laugh at that.
That was good.
That's so fucking good, man. I loved it.
I thought of mine while we were sitting here.
Fuck, it's 10 times better.
No, it wasn't.
And y'all know me, it's the kid K-Dog, and I just took a personality test, and I got a 99% match with Puck from the real world. So let's get started, guys.
You sure that system's not messed up? It's not 100?
Oh, man.
So if anyone is listening from 1994, you're cracking up right now.
Which one was that?
He was the guy who got kicked out, and he was the one who was bullying the kid with AIDS.
No, I remember who he was. Which like house was it?
I don't
like,
remember,
I can't
dude.
remember which one it was. Like Denver.
I think it was actually in like San Francisco.
Really nice.
Okay, before we get anywhere else, Spence, you got a subreddit of the week for us?
First, I want to plug my new idea for a store that I might never start. It's just a Harry Potter memorabilia store. It's called Dobby Lobby.
Oh, yeah, dude.
All right.
I
But
said,
Yes.
I want to start a store.
What's
That's
that?
just Kanye West.
Oh, okay.
I literally thought about it looking at Timmy's shirt earlier today.
I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah. So today's subreddit of the week is thanks to our one and only the Toof.
Ooh.
I'd like y'all to check out our Brothers Commonplace.
No, it's not. What?
For some reason, I tried to create the Brothers Commonplace, but I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. So I think there's other Brothers Commonplace out there.
Wow, dude. What if somebody made it?
Holy shit.
What if there's nude pictures of us on there?
Toof, you sexy boy.
Is Toof allowed to be our honorary brother of the week? Or
Hell no,
He-
not this time.
So for
since he is a brother.
honorary brother of the week, and I just want to say, like, during the week, I always get like a little bit of anxiety and like worried a little bit, thinking like maybe we won't have a brother of the week.
So you made one up?
But you guys have been like super awesome so far. Like we've been getting some awesome emails and reviews. So if you've sent us one and we haven't said it yet, we're going to get to it. We're just going to do one or two at a time.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about an email we got recently from a dude named John in New Zealand, which is probably my favorite review we've gotten so far. And it's a 5-star review from New Zealand. This is what it says. Oh, his name is John Renodin. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but here's his review. Here's his review. It's titled "The Good Times Don't Stop." Can't say enough how good this podcast is. Laughing from the minute the episode starts until long after it ends. If only I wasn't in jail now for doing the Mel Hall at the local playground.
Yeah, dude. I read that.
Fucking good.
I showed it to Tori, and we fucking laughed so hard.
So fucking good. If you haven't listened to our Mel Hall episode, check it out.
I love that guy for saying it.
Yeah, I laughed so hard. So thank you, John from New Zealand. You guys rock.
You
Dude,
should,
John, smash some Wetas for us.
he should just be on the. I'll get up. I'll let him be on the podcast.
Yeah,
he can take
what
my
up?
spot.
So alrighty, you guys ready to jump into this case? Talk about this fucking sweet peach.
Sure.
I don't know
Sweet
why.
peaches are tasty.
Oh, I could eat a peach for hours.
What's that?
From fucking Face Off, Nicolas
Oh,
Cage.
Dude, you cracked a lot of face-off jokes today.
Alrighty, so here we go. Antoinette Frank. So alrighty, all you ladies out there, it's time to row your boat all the way to death row. Because
Nice.
today we'll be talking about one of the only 2 women that are currently on death row in the state of Louisiana. So join us in this weird and twisted case about this sweet peach, Antoinette Frank.
Does she ever like shorten her name at all?
Well, I don't know, because we can't ever find her to ask her.
I heard if you move a bookcase or something, you might be able to find her.
Jesus Christ. So this is...
So
Oh, I was just gonna say, this episode, I don't know how funny this episode is gonna be, because it's like a really sad
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
case.
the darker it is, the funnier it is to me.
Well, all right.
There's a lot of there is a part where I really don't think we can make a joke.
No.
It'll almost be like how with the Austin Powers guy, how we couldn't
Yeah.
make a joke about that. It kind of is like that almost.
Yeah.
So the name Antoinette, I can't hear without thinking of that Killer Queen song.
Killer Queen.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, every time.
Pussy shoots a laser beam. That's not in the song. Okay, let's just keep
Every
going.
time I always hear "hide your kids, hide your wife."
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
So this is a weird case. So we're going to start at a certain spot, like just real quick, and then we're going to jump back to the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and we'll time cop Van Damme ourselves back
Oh,
to the
fuck
beginning after
yes.
this. So we're going to start at March 4th, 1995, in a Vietnamese restaurant run by the Vu family. An officer and 2 family members were shot and killed.
Were they sometimes known as the Wu-Tang Clan?
No,
Oh, my
yes.
God.
That I like that. That is awesome. I love
Okay.
that.
They ain't nothing to mess with.
That is good, man.
Fuck, right off the bat. That was good. Dude, I didn't, not once when researching or doing any of this shit did I think Anne Frank or Wu-Tang.
Yeah,
And you guys have fucking, so
I thought
good.
Anne Frank the whole time.
So Antoinette Frank, she arrived on scene in a marked police car, which was very suspicious and weird because she was currently under suspension. And on the scene, she spotted Chau Vu. So Antoinette Frank asked him what had happened there, to which Chau replied, "You saw what happened. You killed my brother and sister."
Wow, I really thought for a second like she was saying she spotted like some kind of food. Like it sounds like that dude's on the fucking menu.
Oh, that's
Did
so
we ever-
bad.
It really does though.
Did we ever find out what was wrong with the suspension? Like why she was under it?
Oh, shit. They were trying to reenact fucking the Uptown Girl video.
Kev, how did she understand him speaking Spanish? Does she speak it too? Wasn't it Chau Vu Guerrero talking to her?
Oh my god. Yes.
No.
That was after he got the text from Benoit.
Oh God, guys.
Oh, nice.
So now we're gonna go back to the beginning. We're gonna leave you on that little twist cliffhanger right there.
Yeah.
So alrighty, early days.
He's like, well, you're suspended. What are you doing here? She's like, Roman Reigns don't care if she's suspended. I'll come out anyway.
Yes. That was just from Raw.
So alrighty, the early days. Frank. Sometimes we're gonna call her Frank or Antoinette. So if we say Frank, it's her, even though it sounds like a dude.
Yeah.
What about Mrs. Cutie? Cutie Pie?
No.
Oh.
Actually, I got this shirt from Frank.
Oh, yeah. We've cracked that joke more than once.
So Frank was born April 30th, 1971 in Louisiana. She had an unstable and pretty fucked up childhood, coming from a broken family. Her brother was a fugitive, and her father was never around much, and unfortunately for her, the few times that he was around, he was abusing her mentally, physically, and sexually.
I didn't read that part.
Yeah, so
it kind of gives it kind of makes things make a little bit more sense actually.
Yes, like of course with anyone this is going to mess you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or a lot, you know.
I came out just fine.
Yeah, but I didn't start doing that until like we met like when you were like 20.
Yeah, I kind of did agree to it after 3 near beers.
Actually, those were
after a 6-pack of O'Doul's.
I was going to say those were O'Doul's.
Oh, so that's why you need my bed and my furry handcuffs
That's exactly why.
And that
on
beer
Tuesdays.
and that beer bong and that toilet paper.
They weren't even O'Doul's. I just gave you like 3 things of sparkling water and told you it was beer.
So she
Now
was.
I can never use my my wooden spoon for cooking anymore.
Did you guys see that video? It was like that small clip of that dude in a sex store, and they got like the ass that you can like fuck. They had like a model sitting out.
It's like sitting on like a pedestal.
And when the worker walks away, he whips his dick out and fucks it.
Oh my god, no!
But it's after he fingers it for a little bit. So he's like fingering it, then he gets the idea.
Holy shit, dude! They were filming that.
Yeah.
Am I in trouble?
It was like dude, it was like in the corner. He like fingers it, walks away to the corner. You could still see his head, and he like looks down and unzips his pants, and like slowly walks up, and he's got a hard on.
Yes.
And just sticks it in, and then he pulls it out because it wasn't wet, and he starts like licking his hand and rubbing his dick and putting it back in.
Holy shit, dude!
Oh, that was on Reddit. That was on WTF.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
started watching. I couldn't tell from the blurry video what was going on.
Dude, the only thing I wish it would have gave it a rim job first. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
One of the comments said like they should show him videotape of the other 28 people that's done that.
That is so true.
Dude, you gotta get your own.
Alrighty, back to this. So, obviously Frank has been pretty messed up from the beginning, and she sought psychiatric help to deal with the abuse, but that can only do so much for some people. And her father would eventually come back into her life, and he ended up staying with her for a brief time. This is when she was in like her 20s.
Yeah.
And then she would eventually report him as missing, but we will come back to that later. So Frank applied with the NOPD in 1993. That's the New Orleans Police Department. So she would have been around 22 to 23 years old at this time. And right away, there's a ton of red flags during her hiring process. Like she had been caught lying on several sections. She failed 2 of the standard psychiatric evaluations. And she also showed up to the interview drinking Pepsi Blue and rocking out listening to a Zune.
My
that
God,
last
dude.
part just sounds like what someone crazy would do.
I was going to say, I mean, if she did that, that's probably why she got hired.
Instead of a fucking police badge, they gave her a Zune.
Dude, Zune was the little one that had like the little like squares that had like one song on it.
Yeah,
right?
they sucked.
Dude, I swear to God, I had one and I had fucking what's Hanson and Spice Girls.
Oh fuck yeah!
That's all I fucking had.
So you would just
What else do you need?
Yeah, but I mean that if you ask a female, you don't need anything else. But a male, still going to school and that gets made fun of for that, you probably need a little bit more.
You're like, Primo, what are you listening to? You're like, oh, it's you. I don't know if you like it's Black Hole Sun. And they grab the earbud, and it's just, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So you listen to that, and you sing Black Hole Sun.
I did straight up lie, like a lot of times, to say it was something else.
But yeah, the Pepsi Blue and Zune's a lie. You just have to be crazy to enjoy those because they both suck. And after a psychiatrist evaluated her, he said Antoinette Frank should not be hired. And also, she is very shallow and superficial. So she protested his evaluation, and soon after being told that she wouldn't get hired, she left a suicide note and disappeared for a couple days. I
Nice.
didn't mean to chuckle in saying that. sorry.
I mean, you're kind of allowed at this point.
But it's like,
Yeah. We know she's a bitch.
yeah, she
Yeah.
is. I
So
mean,
we don't feel
at this
bad.
point at the beginning, I mean, so much bad shit's happened to her, and you don't know a whole lot, so you're kind of rooting for her up until this point.
But you Tarantino'd it, so we still know.
oh
that
yeah, we know.
Yeah, so she's a fucking cunt. So you're
Yeah,
allowed to
she
laugh at
is.
that. Yeah.
Damn, I just now came up with a good joke. So she brought Pepsi Blue and a Zune to the interview, and she's trying to become a police officer, so I guess Pepsi Blue Lives Matter.
Oh, I like that, dude. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
So after failing multiple tests and protesting the evaluation and then leaving a suicide note and disappearing, she obviously doesn't get hired. There's no way she becomes a member of the New Orleans Police Department
Yeah, doesn't happen.
until she applies again.
I was gonna say she should have applied to that place where the making a murderer thing comes from.
Oh yeah, that could have worked.
So she applies again, and she ends up getting hired. So a dream of hers, ever since she was a young girl, was to be a police officer. And on February 7th, 1993, her dream would come true.
Did they go through the psychiatric thing again?
I have
would
no
think-
idea. See, here's the thing, though, at the time. The NOPD, they're very short-handed, and they're desperate to get new members, but nobody was joining the force because it paid like shit. Like, you weren't getting paid anything.
Oh, okay.
And lots of officers were dirty and arrested for like murder or using and selling drugs.
Wow.
And also, you had to be living in New Orleans to get hired,
Okay.
which she wasn't even living in New Orleans to get hired.
Jesus.
She failed all those tests. There's no reason she should have ever been made a police officer.
Wow.
But the NOPD thought it'd be a good idea to bring her in because she was an African-American female, and they thought bringing in more black officers would help ease racial tensions.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there was riots going on around at the time, too.
Yeah, that actually really does. Yeah, that does make sense.
That was just Mardi Gras.
In New Orleans.
Show us your tits. God damn it, Dad, we're recording a podcast, and it's just us dudes in here.
I do have a female cat, like right over there. Though.
Yeah,
I think that's who he's talking to.
Why the hell do they show their tits for those stupid plastic beads?
Wait a minute, stupid, Spence.
I mean,
Okay, I retract stupid.
it's
They're
not.
still fucking China-made plastic beads.
It's not like they could wait till Mardi Gras is over and just buy them for $1 or something, Spence.
Yeah, I really
They
don't know.
could definitely do that.
I don't know how any of that started.
I have no idea.
It's kind of silly.
My mom just had a couple beers. That's how it started.
See, I don't want to be around any girl that's completely okay with that, honestly.
Like every time I go and I try to like show my tits for beads, they just frisbee over slices of bologna that stick to my tits.
And they still don't cover up your areolas.
So on February 28th, 1993, she would graduate from the police academy, and to top it all off, she was toward the top of her class. So that's weird. If she got hired February 7th, that means that police academy was like 3 weeks. I don't know anything about it. Doesn't that seem super fucking short?
They probably just watch the fucking movies at this point.
That's enough to get 8 movies in.
Yeah, they really probably just watch them at this point. They're hiring anybody.
They only hired her because she can make funny and good sounds.
Where was Manson during this time? I mean, I'm surprised OJ wasn't on the fucking force.
They just make like they don't have any of the police videos, so they make her watch Red Asphalt over and over.
Oh my god.
See, like we said, at this point in the story, in a way, you're kind of rooting for her. She had like a really shitty, fucked up background. She wants to be a police officer.
Yeah.
She's got like the cards stacked against her, and yeah, odds are against her. And you know, just like that coffee that Austin Powers drank, it's a, you know, she's a bit nutty. I'm so sorry.
It is shit, Austin.
It is shit, Austin.
I was gonna say that her test. I actually looked it up. She had to watch an episode of Matlock, and they gave her a quiz afterwards. So that's all it was.
So as far as her as an officer goes from like the training, at the time of graduating, the only thing really said about her was that she was a bit shy. She could possibly use more training. But that was really all that was said about her at that time.
Like, who's even saying that? Because it really seems like they're all basically like her on this force.
I don't know.
Because she said, like you said, there was like, you know, murderers and and all that already on the force. So basically, she was just adding to that statistic.
It's like the fucking Replacements, but of just
yes.
instead of playing football, they're just shitty police officers.
Dude, if Keanu Reeves was on it, though, I'm happy.
Shane Falco.
Oh, yeah.
You said they made her watch Red Asphalt, but it was just some baboon porno.
November 25th, 1994, Frank met a boy that would soon become one of her best friends / boyfriends, possibly. His name was Rogers Lacaz, and according to some sources, they were just friends, but I really doubt that. So here's some fun romantic details on how they met. On one note, though, she does claim to have met him before the time instead, so I'm not sure if she's lying or why she would lie about that. I really don't know. But here's how they met. There was a shooting in which a known drug dealer was shot. His name was Rogers, so this guy. So what a fun way to meet, though. Like a cop meets a drug dealer. The drug dealer gets shot, and she kind of takes care of him, and that's how they become friends / possible lovers. And at this time, he was like 17, maybe 18.
Wow. What's his last name?
Lacaz.
Oh, okay. Because I heard that originally, like his name was actually just like Roger Smith. And he changed it because the first time he met her, he gave her a rim job. So Roger lick ass.
Oh, nice.
Oh man.
So you gotta know, like, that's already so fucked up. Like, you're an officer and you're like this drug dealer kid is who you're just, even if they don't become lovers, they just become friends. That's still fucked up. Like, you're a police officer and you become best friends with a drug dealer who just got shot, and like you just are working the case.
Yeah, that is pretty fucking weird.
I mean, it sucks because he is a young kid, you know? And like the story goes that Frank initially got close to him to help him turn his life around, but then soon she fell for him because of his like bad boy persona.
What about the song that he wrote? Didn't she fall for that?
What was the song?
This is the story of a girl who shot 3 people and changed the whole world.
Oh, Jesus. I did stop myself, dude, from reading a joke I wrote where there's no joke. It's just a punchline. It just says, if the streets were the Backstreet Boys, he would be the AJ. How do I even add that in anywhere? I don't even know how to add that in.
You just say it.
All right.
You just fucking say it.
So yeah, so those two started hanging out and doing some weird shit. And officers noticed that the two were doing strange things. They had this weird relationship going on. Like, he was seen riding with her in the police car, and she would even let him drive it around sometimes, and she would ride shotgun.
That's fucking crazy.
And there's a couple shows that they had this on. Like, they had it on Snapped was one of them. I forget what other one. But in like the reenactments, they're like waving guns around and shit, which I doubt they really did
probably
that.
Didn't happen, yeah.
But yeah, dude, my mom used to always watch Snapped. and like it's a show about like a lot of the episodes are about like moms that can't take it anymore. They fucking kill their whole family. I'm like, hey mom, what you want? Oh, you're watching Snapped again. All right. Like, okay.
Like as it's happening, she does like the Exorcist like head turn like over to you.
Fuck yeah, dude. And when she turns, she is eating like a yardstick of bubble gum. She has it like sticking out her mouth like it's a big cigarette. I don't know.
So when she got in the car with Robert, she's like, shotgun, little buddy.
Shotgun, little buddy.
But you said that like she first started liking him because she was trying to help him, you know, get his life together and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand because he is still like a young. He is like 17 or 18 and young, so you would want to help him, but.
I was gonna say hopefully you get this joke, but it really could just be the sequel to Bulletproof.
Is that an Adam Sandler movie?
Yeah, Adam Sandler and David Wayans.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That really is that story pretty much, except for they don't murder somebody in the end.
I couldn't remember if it was that one or the one with Emilio Estevez.
Oh my god, wait, that's Loaded Weapon, right?
Oh, it is. That's Loaded. Okay, never
yeah,
mind
and Bulletproofs. Yeah, that's right.
So Frank, she would also bring him to scenes of accidents, and whenever he was there with her on scene, she would introduce him as a trainee, or she would bring him around and say that he was her nephew. Which, even if any of that was true, why would you fucking bring your nephew?
Yeah, still pretty wrong.
To crime scenes and shit.
Yeah, hey, check out this dead body.
Nephew, how do you do, nephew? So, so the police investigated her on him, and she denied any of this happening, but they would later find out that she did indeed have a sexual relationship with him.
Wow.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if this part is actually true, but there were some reports that the two would pull over cars together, like in the police car, and that they would rob them. which I don't know if that part's
Dude,
true or not.
That's
so.
the fucking super trooper stuff right there. If they kept saying meow, I'd be completely fine with it.
Damn, that's Rob squared right there. Rob would rob him.
Oh, I like that.
This is so not even funny at all, but I was going to make a Robin Big joke, but it's just Robin Bitch. It's not funny at all. So, like, the one thing about this case, though, is once we get down to the actual crime, if you look online, you're going to see stories and reports everywhere about who's innocent, like, oh, this person's innocent, this person's guilty. And so all the reports will either take out certain facts or they'll change the stuff to like fit their narrative, you know? So it's so hard to research this case sometimes. It's kind of annoying. So that's why I said I don't know if that part's true or not.
Yeah. After like all the stuff, like all the crimes and like the killing and stuff like that, like he wanted like people to know that he was the one that did that. So he changed his name to Robin Killiams.
Come on, dude.
Holy shit.
Goddamn.
I'm surprised I got that out. Oh my god. I'm surprised God didn't strike me dead before I got that joke out.
You get 3 jokes.
All right. Well, I probably used 3 at least now.
Trust me, you get more than 3 jokes in life because I've definitely looked at my dick more than 3 times.
Oh, shut up, dude. So when it was found out that she was riding around and having him in the car, the police asked her, like, why do you associate yourself with him knowing his past of drug dealing and being in trouble with the law? And her response was that she was not going to disassociate herself from him just because of his past. And it was apparent to everyone that she was pretty in love with this guy.
It makes sense if she wasn't a fucking cop.
Yeah, it's like the complete...
Yeah, if she was a stupid teenager, like you'd kind of get it. But
like this is just your classic... Never mind. This is going to be a Romeo and Juliet joke.
Dude, I kind of want to hear it.
It was just going to be like, this is your classic Romeo, Juliet, and then that was really all I thought through. So
okay, all right.
This was East Side Story.
Dude, holy shit. Story. Dude, they fucking dance in the end and shit.
And there's also an incident involving the two of them that rubbed the department the wrong way. An investigator would later find out that the day before the murders took place, Frank tried buying 9mm ammo for Lacaze at Walmart. Wow. So her answer to the questioning was this: I'm a police officer. No, remember that Arnold quote?
Oh, my God. Holy
she
shit.
says...
I believed it.
Well, she does start off like that. She says, I'm a police officer, and there's nothing wrong with me buying ammunition. So, like, I have no way to know because I'm not an officer. I don't know jack shit about being a police officer, and I don't know anything about, like, those gun laws in regards to that. But wouldn't you get issued ammo and shit?
Yeah, you wouldn't buy ammo. There's
I
no
wouldn't
way.
think.
You would think it would have to be, like, also kept track of, too. Because if you're just out there shooting everybody and shit.
I guess when they question her, she's like, I'm a police officer, and I will be taken seriously. And she has hawk hands on.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I like how like she had to throw a police officer in it. Like, you know, you're just an adult that can buy ammo. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
She's like, hey, I'm and she looks down at her badge, a police officer.
I mean, it was Louisiana. If you're a dog, you can probably buy ammo.
That's true. She looks down at her badge to make sure she's a police officer. She's like, I'm a police officer, and I will be. She looks down. She's wearing a serious black shirt. Taken seriously.
Oh my God! Yeah, dude. February 4th, 1995. There was a big party going on that Lacaze was at, in which he got into an altercation with 2 men, John Stevens and Anthony Wallace. Stevens and Wallace would later testify and retell this story in court. But the story goes that they got into a verbal altercation, and then Wallace suggests to Stevens that they should leave. And so the two get in their car and they drive off, leaving the party. And as the two are driving, they get a few blocks away, and then a police car turns on their lights and pulls them over. So anyone want to go ahead and take a guess who the police officer was that got out?
I'm gonna guess it was Antoinette Frank.
Anne Frank.
Was it Paul Blart?
Close.
Oh.
It was a woman though.
So it was John. It was John Stevens and what?
Rasheed Wallace.
Oh my
Anthony Wallace.
Okay, so both of those guys have first names for their first and last names. That's awesome.
John Stevens and Anthony Wallace.
Yeah, like they really could literally just switch their names and it'd be fine.
So yeah, they go to drive. They get in their car to leave, and they drive a couple blocks away. And our lovely lady, our sweet peach, Antoinette Frank, gets out of the car, and she orders the two men to get out and to get into the back seat of their car. And this part seems a little weird to me. Like, the details of it don't make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
But it says that Stevens said that Wallace then noticed that Lacaze was there, and he was holding a weapon. So Wallace rushed at him, and then the two began fighting. So I don't know if this means that Lacaze had, like, followed them, or if Antoinette picked him up on the way. I have like no idea.
Kind of seems like maybe she picked him up. But if he had the weapon, maybe was he loading it? Like, how do you rush at somebody?
I don't know. I don't know if he just saw a weapon on him, so like he ran at him.
Oh, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense.
And next, Antoinette and Stevens, they both jumped into the fight, and then the gun went off, and this caused Stevens to take off running. And then a man who was just an innocent bystander, he showed up and grabbed and held both Williams and Lacaze. And then Antoinette told the man that Lacaze was the good guy and that Wallace was here causing all the problems. So then Wallace, he was then restrained and he was arrested and charged with attempted murder and armed robbery.
What the fuck? That's lame.
So that's the version that Williams and Stevens tell in court, and that's really the only main version I've heard of how that night went.
Dude, the innocent bystander is a badass, though.
Well,
Like, who just walks up and grabs a motherfucker like that?
that bystander, his name was Irvin Bryant, and he was a civil sheriff in 1995.
Wow.
And he testified that he saw some of the action on that night. He said he observed a stopped police vehicle with the lights flashing, and he just assumed that the officer was making a traffic stop.
Yeah, it's
Which,
good.
I mean,
It's good that he's doing okay after he was forced to retire from the NBA.
he threw
Force.
I didn't want to say the reason.
when he helped handcuff Stevens. He threw him in the car and yelled Kobe.
Oh fuck yeah! After he put in there, he's like, "Yeah, you're welcome for me aiding you."
But you were kind of right about the force thing, except he wasn't one being forced. He was the forcer.
Oh shit!
We'll leave it at that.
All right.
But as Bryant got closer, he saw there was an officer outside and then two black males that were fighting each other on the side of the road. He then saw a male, which was Wallace, break away, run, and then pick up a Tech 9 semi-automatic weapon out of the grass. So this would have been the one that Lacaze had. Bryant then ordered Wallace to drop the gun, which he did, so he restrained him. And then Lacaze rushed at Wallace like he was going to hit him or something, I guess. After he restrained him and like had him drop the gun and restrain him, Lacaze ran at him.
That's super cool, like, for the Wallace guy, because, like, you literally have a gun and you're going to shoot this guy, and some bystander tells you to drop it, and, like, you have enough knowledge, like, maybe I shouldn't kill this guy, and he actually does drop it. Like, that's actually kind of crazy to think about.
Normally happen.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised he just didn't shoot Bryant and then shoot the other guy.
Definitely doesn't happen in movies.
Yeah, Bryant sounds like a badass because after he already, like, took care of Wallace, he then grabbed Lacaze because Lacaze was like being a dick and after like rushing at him and stuff. And then Antoinette said that he was with her and ordered Bryant to release him.
Nice.
But Bryant was never questioned by the police about this either. So he never gave an actual formal statement. This is him retelling later about what happened that night.
He didn't tell him what he said, but he grabbed Lacaze and he's like, "Hey, you stop or I'm going to whoop your Lacaze." That's fucking so stupid. I'm sorry. That's so dumb. It had to be said, but I regret being the one that said it.
No, it needed.
So what else came of this fight? Just everyone just calmed down after the gun was Tech 9 was put down, and
I think after Bryant showed up, I think he kind of put a stop to it, and then Wallace and Stevens were arrested, and then Antoinette said that Lacaze was with her, and that he was the good guy.
But what skin color was Wallace, Bryant, and?
Well, he said he saw two black males fighting.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what race, what ethnicity
he can't be white, man. There's no way.
Eskimo.
I mean, you said nothing came of it, but I heard for some reason this inspired them to make the movie Milk Bunny.
Oh my god!
It didn't. It didn't at all.
Shit.
It didn't.
So the
Fuck that movie.
altercation all kind of calmed down after somebody put down the Tekken and they could get back to playing.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck. Now all I can think about is Milk Money, dude. That movie fucking sucks.
So bad.
So alrighty, on to the murders. Kim An. A-N-H. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know. Spence?
An.
Ah, Come on.
So, Kim Ann, if that's not right, I apologize. This is the name of a Vietnamese restaurant that is run by the Vu family in New Orleans East. Antoinette would work here sometimes off-duty as a security guard. Since police in New Orleans didn't make that great of money, it was pretty common for some police officers to pick up some extra work as security guards.
They didn't make that good of money because they thought that fucker turned into mist and came through the fucking slots in the door.
After this whole case was over, as you might understand that the Vu family were pretty pissed off, and a movie was made about their actions afterward called Vu for Vendetta.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I love that. That's awesome.
Bulbasaur. Okay, yeah.
So she would work there sometimes, and while she was there, she would like talk to them, hang out, and be friends with them all, with the family. They would give her meals, and it is even said that sometimes they would let her borrow money from them on occasion. So it's like, it sounds like they treated her well, like respected her, and yeah, she would show up there and eat and just hang out. Like they respect her, they liked her.
Yeah,
you know, that's just fucked up.
That really is like what Michael did to Prince Family Paper. Dude, nobody gets that joke, but I'm glad you get it.
Oh my god, dude! Oh my god! Fuck,
I hope like at least 4 of our listeners get that.
Shit.
But I mean, you can't like treat them badly. Like you can't treat the person who's protecting you badly, though. Like, hey, can I borrow some money? No. All right, I guess if someone comes and fucking robs you, that sucks for you then.
There's also another police officer that was a security guard here. His name was Officer Ronald A. Williams II. So he and Frank, they would both work shifts as security guards here, and they were both even police partners in the past.
Wow.
Could it also have been a bodega?
Say it with me now, bodegas.
I don't know what a bodega is.
This place was hopping because Fred Savage was working for him.
Fuck yeah.
Remember that episode?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I love Wonder Years.
Bodega is a place that like they sell like products, but actually they sell drugs in the back.
Weed and shit. So during her time as security at the restaurant, she noticed that on some days they would actually pull in a ton of money and they would have a pretty decent stack of cash. So this gave her an idea. March 4th, 1995, Frank and Lacaze went into the restaurant after midnight when it was closed, and the employees were doing their cleanups and their end-of-the-night routines. Chau Vu, one of the daughters and sisters of the family, was in the kitchen counting the money, and then went into the dining room to pay Officer Williams his money for his security shift that night. Oh, also, I think I mentioned Chau Vu was a male earlier. That's a female. Sorry. And then Chau noticed Frank outside coming toward the restaurant and thought that was pretty weird because Frank and Lacaze had already been in the restaurant twice that day to eat, which I imagine was fucking free shit, you know?
They're probably just scoping it out, too.
So, that's, what a piece of shit, for real.
Yeah, this chick's a fucking cunt.
Hooking her up with, like, free food and shit, and then, it just pisses me off.
Like, if she just robbed it, yeah, it's still bad, but the shit she does, it's fucked up.
It's pretty stupid. Like, if she's gonna rob it, wouldn't you want to rob it the day you're the security guard, not when there's another guy there with a gun?
Well, I don't think she was a security guard anymore, right? Or was she still?
Yeah, she was.
She still fucking was?
As far as I know, she was, but she wasn't.
Holy shit, then yeah, Toof's right.
At this time, it was the guy was there, but yeah, she was still.
Why wouldn't she do that?
I don't know. As far as I know, she
right
still was.
Yeah, see, I thought
in some of the in the reenactment show, whatever it was, they showed her there in police uniform and shit.
Did Josh Peck still play the robber?
Where's the money?
Oh yeah,
I ain't playing. And then he also didn't invite the other dude to his wedding. I love how that was such a huge story for a while.
Yeah.
Chau also sensed something weird was going on because after the second time that Frank had left, she couldn't find the key to the front door. So this really made her think that there is some shady shit going on.
Yeah.
And upon seeing Frank return for the third time, Chau ran into the kitchen and threw the money into a microwave to hide it.
It was a good idea.
So she then walks to the front door, unlocks it, and comes inside. She walks past her former partner, Officer Williams, and then shoves Chau. At this point, Chau's brother, it's spelled Quoc.
I don't know.
I don't want to say. I'm going to say Quack.
Yeah, Quack sounds better than Cock.
Yeah, I don't want to say it just because the poor dude.
Yeah, Quack sounds better.
So Quack.
Can we just say K?
Fuck, now it's not even that. It's just making me think guac. Guac costs extra.
Oh my god.
That's all I can think of right now.
Holy shit. Say K. He's like,
so
fuck
Q.
That works. He's like the dude from Impractical Jokers. I like
it. Surprise funeral. Oh shit. Hey, don't rock the goat. I should have said that one. Fuck, I did not mean that. Fuck. So she shoves Chau, and then Chau's brother, Kwok, also comes over, and she shoves him. And Officer Williams comes over to see, like, what the hell's going on. And then there's a shot fired. During this moment, Frank turns back toward where the shots came from. Chau and Kwok, they head away to hide somewhere. And Officer Williams falls to the ground. Lacaze was behind him and shot him in the back of the neck, severing his spinal cord and instantly paralyzing him.
Yeah, dude, what a fucking pussy, too.
How the fuck?
Like, from behind,
yeah.
Like a little cunt.
And now, I don't know who fires these next two shots, but Williams is then shot in the head and in the back while he's on the floor, like already dying and paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I saw in some sources, supposedly, he had bullets fired from two different guns in him. I don't know if that's true at all.
Too, or was there another person?
Some reports say that he shot the first shot and then she shot the other two. Some reports say that, depending on if you think Lacaze is innocent or guilty, that he was never there, that it was actually her brother.
That pussy's guilty.
So,
I think I figured a little bit of it out, because I was like, why would you rob the place when there's another guy there with a gun? Like, that just makes another person you have to, like, target and stuff. And maybe they had Williams work the nights where it's, like, the most busy.
Yeah,
he was probably a better security guard,
too. That could
too.
make sense, yeah.
There's also somewhere that she was upset that he got like a raise or was making more than her.
I remember seeing that.
But the thing is like she took that as being, because she's a woman and black, and just everything we know about her, she's probably just a fucking horrible worker. He probably actually does an amazing job at what he does. That's probably why he was getting more.
At this point, she's still a cop, right?
Yeah.
Then why the fuck do you care if like somebody got a raise at a fucking security place when you're still a cop?
And also, most likely, he could probably reach the top shelf.
True that.
And open a jar of pickles.
Yeah. And also, according to one source, Lacaze possibly took Williams' revolver and his wallet after he was dead. Yeah, so the wallet will come into play again a little bit later.
Okay.
So Chau and Kwok are now hiding in a walk-in cooler with all the lights off so they can try and be more hidden. Their brother and sister, Ha and Kwong, were in the back sweeping and cleaning. And Frank and Lacaze, they were in the back shouting and demanding for them to tell them where the money is, but they had no idea. They didn't see where Chau had hidden it, and they had no idea what the hell was going on. So they're just like doing their end of the day shit, and then they come in like, where's the fucking money?
Yeah.
And the brother and sister, they sat there crying, pleading for their lives.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then when they insisted that they didn't know where the money was, Frank pistol whipped them. From the cooler, Chau and Kwok, they can't see what was really going on, but they saw Frank moving around a few times and looking around, and then they heard more gunshots. Ha, who's 21 years old, she was shot 3 times, and her brother Kwong was shot 6 times. So they both died and laid on the floor in the kitchen, where their family would soon find them. And here's the even more fucked up part about this. Frank found the money in the microwave before shooting him.
Yeah. Like,
so this bitch found the fucking money and then fired 9 shots into him.
Like straight up killed these people that were giving you free fucking food.
$10,000.
Yeah.
So she murders 3 people for $10,000.
This bitch is still on death row, or did she die?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So that's $3,333.33 per person.
Repeating, of course.
Yeah.
Repeating, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
is that worth it?
Plus 4 strength, 4 stam. That's what you reminded me of. You were talking about the Leroy Jenkins thing, right, though? Frank and Lacaze then left the restaurant and headed to a nearby apartment complex. And they knew that there were still survivors and witnesses inside the restaurant. And Frank then heard over her police radio that somebody inside had dialed 911 and that there was a call out for an officer down as well as gunshots fired. So the survivors in the restaurant, they went and called 911.
Yeah.
So what do you think this fucking crazy bitch does?
I know what she does.
It's so ridiculous.
I mean, it's stupid, but like you would think that when they called, you would think they would say, "Hey, it was this bitch," because don't send her. You know what I mean? Like,
well, no, they don't. No, like they don't. They just call for 911. They just call for help. But the thing is, like, she wasn't in uniform while doing that. I mean, they knew who she was and everything, but she wasn't in uniform at this time.
Okay. Maybe they didn't know she was a cop.
This is what she does, though. She parks a car out back and enters the restaurant through the back door, claiming to be the first officer on the scene. So she makes her way through the kitchen, acting like she had just arrived there, and like she just fucking saw all this for the first time.
Was she? You said she was in uniform then?
No, she's not in uniform.
Okay.
But she was saying that like she heard it. I'm like 99% sure she's not in uniform. She might have been.
I don't think she was.
Yeah, I don't think
From
she
what I
was,
read.
though. So she goes through the kitchen, acting like she just arrived there. And then Chau, whenever she saw that Frank was back inside, she bolted through the front door and ran to all the other officers. And so the officers are like looking inside. They see Frank like moving in there, and like the cops are like yelling and stuff. And Frank comes out. She's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm a police officer." And acting like, so she was acting like she was like the first responder.
Yeah.
Like she heard about it on a radio, so she's like responding, heard Officer Downs trying to help and shit. And then they're like asking questions. So like she's like walking around the crime scene, just hanging around while they're questioning the people that were in the restaurant and fucking saw it, like the workers. And Chau then says like, "You know what you did." And then she cries into the arms of one of the other police officers. It's like she's trying, like, how do you think you can get away with that?
I don't know.
They watched you do it.
Like they
know who you are. You fucking work there. They know who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's just like a fucking evil bitch, man.
She is.
Right on the radio. Is that what she responded to?
Oh yeah.
So they started questioning her and Lacasse at the restaurant. But of course they denied it all, even though there's fucking witnesses right there. And then eventually at the station, she would later confess.
It's a big series of stupidness. Like,
dude, I would love to I wish it was now and we could hear the confession. Because what do you even fucking say?
I'm almost gonna guess that one of the reasons she liked this drug dealer guy is also because she was on drugs. Because you don't just do that for 10 grand unless you're desperate.
You wouldn't think.
Why would you expect? Okay. That just makes no sense. Like, they watched you kill him. Like, I don't know if she was thinking like it was their word versus mine.
Probably, yeah.
Did they ever say she was on drugs or anything?
I don't think so. I'm not quite sure,
I mean, you would think she was.
I'm gonna guess so, yeah. There was a reason she probably also liked that drug dealer guy.
So whenever she's asked about this night of the murder, she first refuses to talk about anything about Officer Williams or the Vu family or any part of the shootings. She would just tell the investigators to, quote, look it up in the record to any time they would ask her a question. And during the investigation, though, she did admit to having a partner in a relationship, but she denies that it was Lacasse. She's like, no, it's not him. I'm seeing someone, but it's not him. Even though they're like, we've all seen you, all your time spent with this fucking dude.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, well, who is it? She says, I'm not going to go into any further details because he works for the police department.
Oh, my God.
What a fucking liar. No, he doesn't, dude.
She really just wanted them to look at other cops.
That's
at that
so
point.
ridiculous.
Just trying to get the trail off of fucking lick cunt.
So fucking ridiculous. I can't, like, how do you kill two people and your former partner for fucking 10 grand? So real quick though, let's go ahead and talk about the officer that was shot and killed, because this poor dude, he deserves some recognition and deserves to be known.
Absolutely.
And it's so fucking low and shitty. Just like we said, to kill an officer and your former partner for money. So his name is Officer Ronald A. Williams II. He was only 25 years old. He was married and had children.
Jesus.
And just like Frank, he didn't make shit doing police work, so he was doing security on the side at the same place as Frank, so he's just making extra money for his family. He graduated in high school in 1987, and he married his high school sweetheart, Mary. And if this isn't fucking sad enough for you, 4 days before he was murdered, his second son, Patrick, was born.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And here's a quote from one police officer there. Ronald was an excellent police officer. You can't imagine anyone wanting to kill him. And for what? $10,000. So it's just...
It's for nothing.
He just
really
seems like a fucking such a good dude. I mean, I don't know anything about him, but it's just...
Yeah. I mean, from the sound of it.
Yeah.
And really,
like the
when
fucking polar opposite of her.
When you think about it, 2 people did it, so that's $5,000 each. Yeah. $5,000 each. There's people that get that in income taxes at the end of the year. Right. You couldn't have fucking gotten married and had a kid and waited till the end of the year. You'll get $5,000 back.
Yeah.
Get more than that. It's ridiculous.
So now we're going to talk about the trial. There's a lot of confusing shit on here, and there's different sources saying different things. Because you're going to get some sources that believe Lacaze is innocent, some that believe he's guilty, and it's hard to get the exact details. I tried looking at some court documents and things like that. It's fucking all over the place. You have sources from all over, and it's really confusing. Like, some believe that the guy there with her was actually her brother and not this guy.
You can pretty much chuck up the people that believe he's innocent with the people that believe Kevin Sullivan killed the fucking Benoit family.
It's so stupid.
It's pretty much the same shit.
And there's one piece of evidence that really points to him, that you'll see videos of people defending him and all this other shit. But yeah, so Lacaze, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. However, it was Frank that had implicated him in the whole thing whenever she was admitting to the murders. So they're both like pointing fingers at each other the whole time.
Oh,
this
wow.
is my favorite part. During Frank's trial, they had subpoenaed 40 witnesses. And after hearing all the evidence and prosecution, her lawyer was just like, all right, fuck it. There's no way to win this. And they didn't even call anyone up or try a defense. They're just like, all right, like, put the fucking, close the briefcase and just pretty much like, okay, we're done.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. I wish, like, for some reason it was Jim Carrey and he got up and screamed that somebody was a good father.
Oh my God.
See, I always picture it as Michael Cera. What they call him in Wet Hot American Style, like
shit.
piss pants or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like
Johnny
Piss
Pot.
Yeah. That's what I like picture it as. And, like, he sits down, like, opens a briefcase, and he's like, all right, let's get this trial started.
Hey. Hold all my calls.
And as soon as they hear all the evidence, he just quickly closes the briefcase, fastens it up, and just leaves. Gets up and fucking leaves. So yeah, the jury only needed 22 minutes to find her guilty on all counts.
This happened after the OJ trial, right?
This was
95?
Wait, was
96?
it around the same time?
Actually, no, I think this is after, because I think one of them, Lacaze, or maybe Frank, made a comment about it being like the OJ trial, and it pissed people off.
Oh, okay, I bet, yeah.
But yeah, so the jury only needed 22 minutes to find her guilty on all counts. She was sentenced to death and sent to death row at the Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women, and she is one of only 2 women on death row currently in Louisiana.
Who was
like that other chick was just like super lonely. It's like, hey, welcome.
Who? I was gonna say, who is the other one?
I have no idea. I didn't look it up.
I looked it up.
It's like
it's the Popeyes lady, Louisiana Fast.
Oh,
it's because her chickens killed so many people from heart attacks.
I like
Louisiana Fast.
So we're just giving like a real quick, broad summary of this because there's a lot of confusing and a shit ton of details on this trial. So we're just going to cover a few points. And if you want to know more, I would just look it up because there is a lot of shit with
there's a ton of stuff. Oh, really? I was just cracking a joke when Spence said that she was like, oh, how you doing? When she's lonely on death row. It's just like that Telltale Strangler episode of SpongeBob, and at the end he goes to jail and Patrick's in there. He's like, oh, what are you in for?
Lonely.
See, it's not even funny. I just want to say it.
So she keeps getting her death warrant signed by a judge and then having a date set, but then they keep moving the date or it gets retracted, and she never ends up getting put to death, although she still is on death row.
Yeah, how old is the bitch now? Like,
I think she's in her
40s, right? Or wait, no, she's
60s?
71, right?
Yeah.
That'd be 50s, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And there's, like we said, there's a lot of shit that goes on with this and in the aftermath of the trial, such as appeals and things like that, but it's a bunch of details I don't want to bore you with. And as far as the death penalty goes in Louisiana, no female has been executed since 1942.
Holy crap.
So I think that might be something why they weren't going to execute her. And Lacaze, he's kind of a moron. During his trial in 1995, he testified in his own defense, which is like never a good idea. And plus, this guy was tested and he had like low as fuck IQ.
Oh, I bet.
So he was easily outmatched in this trial. He pleaded and begged and, quote, said, I did not pull no trigger and kill them people.
Okay.
I don't even know them people.
Okay, well then, yeah, I would have already put him in jail for that.
However, though, when he was sentenced to death, he did have a retrial because one of the jurors was actually a former police officer, which wasn't allowed, and it didn't come out till later. So Rogers Lacaze, he was given a new trial after his initial sentence, and there were some other problems with the jurors and a bunch of other things, so they changed it to where he has life in prison. So this was in 2017. It was changed to life
Holy
in prison.
shit. Wow.
So they're both getting life in prison right now.
Wait, so
She's on death row.
she's just still on
she'll
death
never
row.
be executed, though.
Yeah.
And Lacaze, he still maintains his innocence, and he states that he was indeed at the restaurant earlier that day, but not during the murders. Like, he said he was off with his brother playing pool or something.
No, he wasn't.
So Lacaze did all this when he was like 18 or something like that?
Yeah.
Damn. 18 and a life in prison.
Oh, fuck
18 and life to go.
Oh, fuck yeah, Skid Row. I love that.
Death row.
But there is one thing that keeps coming up. Officer Williams' credit card was used 45 minutes after the murders to buy $15.29 worth of gas. And they're like pretty sure it was Lacaze that used it. But he denies it. And anytime people that think he's innocent, anytime this gets brought up, they say, well, there's no proof that he was the one that used it.
There's no proof of a lot of stuff.
Who else? Like they're trying to say it was maybe her brother and stuff.
Wait, like, is there anything else with the brother? Who the fuck is her
Not
brother?
really. I don't know. I couldn't find a whole lot of it.
Yeah, so it's just people. That's like the same people that are saying that Mel Hall is innocent.
But it's like he admits being at the restaurant with her earlier that day and all this other shit. And then, I don't know. It's so stupid. Sometimes they say, like, there's people that think he was there and that she had a gun to his head and made him pull the trigger.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
She said in one time that he had a gun to her head and made her shoot him. None of this shit makes sense.
Yeah.
They make up stories and change them like 100 times.
So they're
it's
fucking
just,
basically the Amityville guy.
Dude, the brother did have a good alibi, though, why it wasn't him. He was drawing like a super rainbowy looking unicorn. His name was Lisa Frank.
Oh, yeah, nice. I thought you were going to go with like a Brothers Commonplace joke.
Oh, okay.
And a month after they were both sentenced to death, the police searched Frank's house. And remember how she reported that her father was missing?
Yeah.
They found a human skull under the house with a bullet hole in it. So, in one hand, I don't blame her for fucking killing her father
I really
at
don't.
all.
Yeah, I really don't at all.
But then on the other hand, it shows she's capable of murdering.
Yeah.
Which, fuck it. This is like the one good thing she did.
Yeah, dude
If
deserved.
he was fucking doing all that shit, then he didn't deserve to live.
Yeah, he deserved to die, but, leave it at that and don't kill people that were giving you free fucking food.
What if that's her defense during the trial? I killed my dad. Like, what? But he touched me and did stuff. Like, oh, shit.
The Casey Anthony and Menendez brothers defense.
Oh, fuck
where they just lie and make up. They throw in the part about being molested and shit, even though it's obvious to everyone. None of that shit's true.
And then they just have pictures of fucking Casey Anthony partying like the next day.
Hell yeah. Hey, you'd hit it, though.
Yeah, how is that bitch still alive?
We'd all hit it.
Oh, dude, I really don't remember what she looks like.
She ain't bad.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'd hit it. But yeah, so there's some people that believe Lacaze is innocent, and he was only 18 at the time, and they believe that the man that helped Frank could have been her brother, and so there's a lot of people on the fence of that. And even though I do think that it was Lacaze, this is kind of why I'm not like a huge fan of the death penalty. It's like, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of criminals I think should die, like Frank, like fuck her, I hope she dies.
Yeah.
But as far as Lacaze, if there is any doubt that it wasn't him and that maybe it was somebody else, then I don't think they should execute him. Although I do think it was him, but I mean, there's been cases where you don't find out till after they get executed that they were innocent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the death penalty, but there are plenty of people I think deserve it.
I think
it's kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a long topic. If we got on that, the podcast would never end.
Yeah. And one thing that Frank did say during the interrogation was that she only shot the two siblings because Lacaze put a gun to her head.
That doesn't make any sense.
It'll never end, just like Frank's sentence.
Oh
yeah, for real.
Yes.
It was funny if you go to like
all the
YouTube videos. There's always people commenting. It's like, yeah, I was in jail where. Okay, wow, that was so racist.
Oh
I didn't
my
mean
God.
it to sound
Keep
like that.
going.
But, they're like, yeah, I was in jail with her. She's a bitch. It's like no one really likes her. She's a bitch. It's like all the comments are saying like, yeah, I was in jail with her. She's a fucking cunt. Or they're like, dude, Rogers is fucking innocent, man. He wasn't there. Like, all right, well, what about the credit card payment? They're like, you're a fucking bigot. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
all right, that makes sense.
Wait,
Okay.
Rogers?
Let's throw more race into it.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that they're both guilty, but there is a lot of people maintaining his innocence. And there's even a ridiculous video on YouTube that it's like, it's not funny, but I'm an asshole. It makes me laugh. But it's just like a slideshow of Rogers Lacaze mixed with writings about how he's innocent. So it's like he wasn't even there that night. And then it would go to like another picture of him, and then there's a Brian McKnight song playing.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Which one?
I don't
Which
remember.
one?
It's not the one you want it to be.
Oh, god damn it.
But it's like, it's not funny, but it's like, it's so ridiculous. You know, it's like, come on.
I don't know of any other Brian McKnight song, to be honest with you.
And Frank was profiled in an episode of Deadly Women in 2009. And she was also on Snapped. And then a show called I'd Kill For You. I can't remember which one I watched. But I watched an episode on this one doing research. Alrighty, so we got anything you want to talk about before we give everyone here listening one last final swift kick to the nuts?
Oh, I was going to crack a joke about OJ's show, but I can't remember what it was called.
Juiced?
God damn it. I was going to say she was on there.
Anything else, guys, before we fucking steel toe boot to the sack ya to end the show?
I don't think so.
Alrighty, New Orleans, 2005. What happened 2005 in New Orleans?
Okay.
Are we allowed to say it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina came through, destroyed the restaurant. Post-storm looters stole jewelry from the restaurant, which Ha and Kwong had been wearing the night that they were killed.
Oh, man.
So, not only does this fucking restaurant get destroyed by this hurricane, but looters stole that fucking jewelry.
Jesus.
So after that, though, Chau Vu and his mother, they sold that old location and they reopened in Harahan, if that's how you pronounce it. So at least they do reopen the restaurant somewhere. But
Where's Harahan?
Is that in China or like?
No, it's somewhere in Louisiana.
Oh, okay, I guess. Because they're not even Chinese; they're Vietnamese, right?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept thinking Chinese earlier too.
But fuck, like as if that story wasn't sad enough, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the story of Antoinette Frank, still alive. Roger's still alive.
Wow.
So fuck them both.
Yeah, she's up there with people I hate as much as Mel Hall and the fucking Austin Powers guy.
She's up there. And it's like, it sucks that she came from such a shitty background, and it's like you root for her for a little bit, and then she just becomes such a cold fuck. What's that song? Cold eye bitch. I don't know, but I fucking hate her. She sucks.
Did CJ be happy about you quoting that song list?
I know someone who has a shittier background. The default Windows XP one.
Dude, XP was awesome. What are you talking about? XP was such a good operating system.
The background.
He's talking about the Windows background.
Was that with the fucking hills?
Yeah.
Dude,
It's called Bliss.
Mine might still have that. Mine changes all the time though. Like it's just like the screensaver or whatever.
So, anything before Spence does our closing shit? Anything you want to mention or talk about?
She's a fucking cunt. I hope that for her death sentence, they just randomly throw a grenade into her cell. That's my hope.
I really thought you were going to say during the hurricanes, like the prison flooded and killed her, and that's how she got off.
Fucking off. If that happened, I would get off.
Oh, God. They just reenact a mile, walking the mile, but they just crop dust her every time they go by.
Fuck yeah.
They
dude.
put a bunch of sawdust in their ass and fart it through her cell.
They just keep lighting their farts on fire until it eventually kills her. Enough methane in the room.
What's that flamethrower one?
Are you thinking of Rambo? Where they throw that fucking baby in the tent?
Oh man, I can't think
They do that. They get like these papers that she just has to sign, and like she's gonna be free, and they wing it in there like that baby and Rambo and flamethrower it.
Right.
They do that with their final meal.
Take that, bitch.
She yells, "I didn't want it well done."
Anybody order a love burger?
Well done.
All right, nutsacks.
Hashtag nutsacks.
T-bro nutsack.
That's right.
All right, you bunch of nutsacks. You are being drafted into the T-Bro C army as of right
Yes,
now.
Dude, fuck yeah.
We need your help. Uncle Toof needs your help.
Oh, Uncle Toof.
So here's how you can help. We need you to leave us reviews and ratings. We need you to write all kinds of wonderful, nice things about us. And we need you to leave us 5-star reviews. iTunes is the go-to place, but any app, any place that you can get to this podcast, please do it to it.
Well, you mean like Applebee's? They got apps.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry.
That's true. They got the little touchscreen thing on the table for you now, so you don't even have to talk to a person.
Thank God, man.
I know.
So you're saying is they should hack it and go to the Brothers Commonplace?
Yeah.
It pisses me off going into McDonald's and seeing that fucking machine that you have to order through. And like the whole time I'm doing it, trying to find what I want, the people are standing at the counter watching me. Like I could just fucking tell you this, but now I gotta find McDouble.
Yeah.
Wait, that's real now?
Yeah.
It's basically like a self-checkout, but...
Is that in Ashland or is that...
Well, I was talking about when I was living in Orlando.
See, I don't go to McDonald's. I'm guessing...
Where the fuck is McDouble? God, I hated it. It never fucking worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it did work. I just lied about that because I don't like it.
Yeah. I think it... I remember seeing it somewhere, so I think it's definitely in Ohio.
It almost sounds like that machine was actually pushing your buttons, Kevin.
Oh!
Yeah, you couldn't find ice cream on there, I'll tell you that shit.
All right, so leave us reviews and ratings, and that is how you get a chance at becoming an honorary brother, where we pull a name out of the hat of the millions of possible options every week.
And millions.
You know, actually, the market's pretty low right now. You'll probably get to be the brother if you do it at all.
Yeah, don't make us pick ourselves.
We do have a couple lined up. I was only doing one, and
Sweet.
On one girl left us a review. You'll probably be our honorary brother next week, but she made a request in it that we'll probably cover in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
How many reviews did we get?
We have 31 ratings altogether.
Like, did we get like a decent amount this week?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Because do you guys remember what we promised at the end of last week's episode?
Yeah, but we're not going to do that. Maybe next time. The Notebook?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, maybe next time. We didn't get anyone to ask about it.
All right, well, I'm adding to it.
Alrighty.
All right, so they have to do the Notebook thing, the scene, the what do you want scene.
Okay.
If we get somebody to ask about it, but also Toof and Kevin have to act out any scene you guys want from the movie She's the Man.
And then Tim and Spence will ask out any scene you want from Joanna, man.
Oh, fuck it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we will. It's basically the same movie. We'll do it.
I don't know what I've just been pulled into.
Well, I told Kevin and Toof to do one where a girl plays a guy. A girl plays a guy and she's a man, and then a
Joanna
guy plays
Man
a girl.
is just this black dude pretends to be a girl, and he just kicks ass in
basketball,
women
right?
basketball.
Yeah.
Dude.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Oh, we
You guys ever see that
I'll
Ray
do it with
Allen
Louis.
tweet where he talks about he's like
Let me suck on them
Hey,
titties.
Wait, I don't think I have.
real quick, Toof, will you read Ray Allen's tweet, man?
Yeah, well, I'll do it willingly.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick.
Oh my god,
It's fucking
I want to
awesome.
suck on those big titties
Oh.
and have you feet fuck me or
So,
whatever.
I
I don't know about the feet thing. I might have made that up.
Wait a second,
Holy
Toof.
shit.
I might have made that last part up.
I don't want to fuck your feet. That's
Wait,
not
dude, have
in
you
here.
been reading the text I've been sending to Andrew?
Andrew, the arches of your feet are like a delicious slice of heaven.
Alrighty, so Ray Allen, if you don't know who he is, he's a basketball player. He also played Jesus Shuttlesworth, and he got game.
Oh, nice.
And he's fucking, he's
Two-time
just
NBA champion?
so-
He's got some dagger threes, man.
He's fucking badass, but he accidentally tweeted this out. This was a long time ago.
Oh, man.
But he tweeted this out.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Ray Allen, from his Twitter, SugarRay20, and I quote, "I'm getting there. When you masturbate, think about my tongue or your clit and switching back and forth from my dick to my tongue."
What the
Ray Allen,
fuck, dude?
And I think that was supposed to be a DM, but he sent it out as a tweet instead.
Oh, my God.
Fuck yeah,
Yes,
dude.
dude.
So special thanks to everyone that has already left us a review or sent us an email. We love that. It's super cool. And if we haven't made you honorary brother yet, we do have some lined up, like everyone that's left us reviews and stuff. So look for that. And thank you to everyone and all you podcasters out there that are keeping us involved on Twitter and including us. That's super cool.
Got some wise words for you.
Let's hear them.
Nice.
So I created that Reddit, and I've already cross-posted it too. I've put it on podcasts, our podcasts. I've put it on Gone Wild.
Nice.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
I've put it on Bigger Than You Thought.
Dude, please put it on the Kevin Nash one, too.
It's on Kevin
Oh,
Nash.
fuck yeah, dude.
I want it to be in Kevin Nash, though.
We're going to be at the end of the night.
More like in Kevin's ass.
If Kevin
Alright.
did that night.
I'll take what I can get, brother.
No, the other Kevin.
Oh.
Nash's asses.
Oh,
There are a lot of
well, how come
Kevins.
he? All right.
Alrighty then. Thanks for listening.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, everyone out there, be good, stay safe.
Laugh at the dark stuff.
Hashtag Wildman.
Hashtag wild man.
Hashtag Pretzel Dog.
Hashtag Nutsack Brothers.
Well, okay. Fuck yeah, dude. Imagine Siamese twins that are connected at the nut sack. Like how big that sack would be.
Would that mean their dicks faced each other?
All right, dude, let's get some fucking super glue and find out.
Well, dude,
Wait.
We're going to experiment in this shit.
If they were Chinese and their dicks touch each other, would that be a Chinese necktie?
Hey, hey, if we get 25-star reviews, we'll fucking do it.
Oh, 25.
Napa know-how.
This month, get a 5-quart jug of Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil plus a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98. That's a pretty unbelievable deal. But trust us, it's totally real, but only for a limited time. So get Napa Full Synthetic and a Napa Platinum Oil Filter for $21.98 today. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 4/30/19.
The all-new Toyota RAV4 asks, what if? What if your ride was refined and rugged at the same time? Introducing the all-new RAV4 Hybrid. 208 combined horsepower and standard all-wheel drive make it the most powerful RAV4. Plus, with its head-turning style and breakaway speed, it's bound to change the way you think of a hybrid. The all-new RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota. Let's go places. Horsepower. Ratings achieved using the required premium unleaded gasoline with an octane rating of 91 or higher. Premium fuel is not used. Performance will decrease.